get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great.
Hello, BYWG tribe. Here's a quick peek at our supplement, product, and book of the month for November 2019. At the end of the podcast, I will spend a few minutes going into further detail, so we encourage you to check it out. The supplement of the month for November 2019 is our hot off the press, newly formulated, and newly released Beyond Your Wildest Genes Immune Boost, with the 10% discount code for the month of November being lowercase I, lowercase b, 10. Yes, it's case sensitive, IB10. The product of the month for November is Dr. Cowan's Garden, nutrient-dense, all-organic vegetable powders. 20% off first-time buyers using the code capital B, capital Y, capital W, capital G. The book of the month for November is Own Yourself, the surprising path beyond depression, anxiety, and fatigue to reclaiming your authenticity, vitality, and freedom by one of our favorites, Dr. Kelly Brogan. Keep in mind, all the links, discount codes, and special offers for the product, supplement, and book will be listed in the show notes in iTunes, posted on social media, and in our weekly newsletter and on our website at www.beyondyourwildestgenes.com at the Listen Now tab. Thanks for listening.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beyond Your Wildest Genes podcast. I'm your co-host today, Dr. Mike Akinfor, and I am thrilled to have Denis Wilson and his daughter, Allison Roberts, on the show. Guys, how you doing today?
Terrific, Mike. Thank you so much for having us.
I am great. It's really awesome. I was just in our preamble before we started. I was talking to Denis and Allison, and I let them know, like, 20-something years of doing this and 30 years of being in health and wellness, and what they've done with their new book and program, I really have never seen before, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys today. So if you just give me a second, I want to read Dr. Wilson and Allison's bio, and we'll get started. So Denis Wilson, MD, is the author of Wilson's Temperature Syndrome, Doctor's Manual for Wilson Temperature Syndrome, and Evidence-Based Approach to Restoring Thyroid Health. As the originator of the WT3 protocol, he's been educating physicians for over 26 years on the use of sustained-release T3 in the treatment of Wilson's temperature syndrome, a condition in which people exhibit low thyroid and low body temperature symptoms but have normal thyroid blood test results. Dr. Wilson speaks at medical conventions and medical schools both nationally and internationally and trains physicians on the use of herbs and nutrients. His new book is The Power of Fastercise, using the new science of signaling exercise to get surprisingly fit in just a few minutes a day. That's by Chelsea Green Publishing, and it came out in October of 2019. Dr. Wilson and his daughter, Allison Roberts, co-founded Fastercise in 2019. The vision of Fastercise is to refresh human fitness the world over. Allison has a degree in business management and minor in economics. She has worked both in operations and finance at multiple Fortune 500 companies and several startups. She is also a life and fitness coach, wife, mother, and athlete. Allison is passionate about helping others achieve their dreams. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. I would appreciate us doing a little background on both of you. So, Allison, could you take the lead with that? Give people your backstory, and then Denis follow up right after Allison.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I was saying, I actually have a background in business. So it might be funny to some that I'm a fitness coach, but fitness has always been my passion. And I actually went into college with the goal to come out with an understanding of business so I could help my dad launch his businesses. He's always had his mind on lots of different inventions, and I thought it would be really fun. Well, his most recent invention, so to speak, Fastercise, actually helped me with my recovery because I just had a baby back in last July, so July 2018. I had a baby and I had roughly 30 more pounds than when I started the pregnancy. So I was not feeling very comfortable, was kind of not able to enjoy the fitness I had before. And my dad said, well, you should try this program that I'm creating. I think it could really help you. So I did, figured I had nothing to lose. Except those 30 pounds, right? So got started with the program, and I was shocked to lose those 30 pounds in as little as like 3 months it took. And then you take into account the fact that I had my baby, moved cross country, and started a new job with my husband. We both started new jobs in that time period. And so I had practically no time to go to the gym or do anything really with a newborn and all those things going on. So those results just blew my mind. And I thought, well, if this was so beneficial to me, I'd really like to help more people have the opportunity to take advantage of it. And then I guess lastly with the program, I just wanted to see how far it could go. I was curious. So I actually signed up for a bodybuilding competition just using Fastercise. And I actually ended up placing in my division. And I didn't do like any weightlifting leading up to it. So I said, if it can take me to a bodybuilding competition 8 months after delivering my baby, I think it could help a lot of people with a lot of different fitness goals. So that's my story.
Well, that's a heck of a story.
Yeah.
Okay, then. Dennis, could you give people your background?
Sure, absolutely. Way to go, Allison. That's a great story. So, but yeah, I started helping people with low thyroid problems 30 years ago, and I found that a lot of times people would have normal thyroid tests and they still had problems with their metabolism. They still had all the symptoms, and they characteristically would have low temperatures. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners, if they have symptoms of a slow metabolism, even when their thyroid tests are normal, if they check their body temperature, they may find that their temperatures run low. And that's actually quite common and quite a problem, because it can make it really difficult for people to lose fat, to have energy, to feel good, to build muscle, to sleep well, to do practically anything. And so in some of those cases, I was able to help people get their temperature up to normal using herbs and thyroid medicine. And a lot of their symptoms would go away, yet in some cases, all their symptoms would go away. But in some cases, all their other symptoms would go away, and they would still have trouble with their weight. And it was one of the less predictable symptoms to improve. And of course, I've seen firsthand how frustrating that is for patients and doctors when patients' bodies don't seem to be cooperating with them, or the accepted scientific approach or the accepted scientific theories on what causes weight gain and weight loss. And so so my heart's always gone out with that for those people, and I've been trying for years to understand that. And but the thing that's changed in the last 10 years is there's research that's available in the last 10 years that wasn't available 30 years ago, and that's what I've been studying lately. And there's a lot of clues in that research, and from those clues, you start connecting the dots, and then all of a sudden you have a different way of looking at things that can help people feel a lot better. And so that's how I came up with Fastercise.
That's amazing. And then you decide to have a book baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's dive into this. So, can you guys explain the concept of Fastercise and how it's dramatically different than anything I've ever seen?
Yeah, Allison, you want to take a stab at that?
Certainly. So the way I like to think about it is when you eat, you have the option of getting energy from your food. But with Fastercise, you have the option of getting energy both from your food or from exercise. So Fastercise allows you to tap into the body fat stores that you already have and utilize that for energy throughout the day. So when I was really actively losing weight in those 3 months, there would be times when I wouldn't even get hungry until about 4 or 5 in the afternoon after doing several rounds of what we call shivercise, which is the exercise imitating shivering. It really mobilizes the stored energy reserve. So the way I would tell my husband, it's like I got to enjoy the burger that I ate 2 months ago then and now, because I ate it then and I'm using it now. So I think that that's how people can see really good results. And it also just taps into how our ancestors function for thousands of years. When they would get hungry, they would go and they would climb a tree and get some nuts or berries or something. They would go and find food. And so if they got hungry, their body would have to hold on to something while they're looking for all this food. And so we're just doing basically what they did. And we've been so far removed from that with all of the modern technology that we have, which is good in a lot of ways, but not great for our health sometimes. So that's, if in a nutshell, that's what I would say Fastercise is.
Okay, and the thing I would add to that, couple of points to that is, and because there is really quite a few things that are really exciting about this. It's not just really one new thing; it's like 4 or 5 new things. But one of those things is that it uses what we call instinctive exercise. There's 2 kinds of exercise that our bodies do instinctively. And one is when we stretch, when we first wake up in the morning, we tighten our muscles. And the other thing we do is we shiver when we're cold. And there's a reason, and we can talk about that in a minute. But those 2 exercises actually can be done to push off hunger. And they push off hunger because they mobilize, like Allison was saying, your stored energy reserves. And they release so much of those stored energy reserves that it actually satisfies your brain with the energy it needs so that you stop burning muscle so that your hunger goes away. And it might stay gone for an hour or 2 hours. And the other thing that's really different about this is that there's a way of using this kind of exercise to get winded every day. And when you get winded enough to take a deep breath, that actually stimulates you to increase the size and number of your mitochondria, which is what provides 95% of the ATP or energy to your body. And so mitochondria, as you know, and is super critical for helping people do everything, all their bodily functions, and also fight chronic disease. So it's quite a handy and helpful thing.
Well, that's amazing. Anything that increases the size and number of the little powerhouse called the mitochondria is a good thing. But you've discovered this. Like, how'd you come up with this? What was it, Dennis, that triggered you to come up with this? This is just fascinating to me.
Well, I would describe it this way. I mean, I didn't know how to help these people, and so I just went searching for how to help these people, and I basically started at ground zero, started at the basics, way back in just physiology and the Krebs cycle and glycolysis, and basically just the basic functions of how the body works, because if the body's not working right, then how do you like if you're trying to fix a toilet, it really helps you to know how the toilet works. If you know how the toilet works, then you can figure out what's wrong with it. And so anyway, going back, and the other thing that was really different, the one thing that's super different now than was when I was in medical school more than 30 years ago is that now we have the internet. And back then we just had separate textbooks, and it was hard to draw correlations. But anyway, so I just studied a bunch of things, and I would go from one topic to the next in the medical literature, reading one article after another, and then I studied that for like many months, and then one day I was waking up from being asleep, and I tightened my muscles, and I thought to myself, why did we do that? And then the more I thought about it, that gave me it's just like, oh, we do that to release our energy stores, to help us get up and start our day, and to help us find something to eat. And then I thought, well, maybe if we do that when we're hungry, our hunger will go away. And so I tried it out, and sure enough, you tighten all your muscles down as hard as you can for 10 seconds or so, and your appetite disappears. By the time you're done relaxing your muscles, your appetite's gone. And it's just one thing after another. I mean, if you just if you just read, like I said, there's just so many clues in the medical literature now that weren't there 30 years ago, and there's a lot of new research or new science that helps us think of things differently.
Go ahead, Allison.
Well,
Yep.
I just want to say, I mean, I do agree with what my dad said, but I do think he's being a little modest. If I could just take one moment to brag about him, so to speak. I like to think of it as Dad likes to think of things in terms of like ones and zeros. Sometimes I feel like his knowledge of these cycles, he loves to research, and they just combine in his mind in a way that I'll never understand. But it's just, he loves to think about these concepts and put them together in ways that have never been done before. And I love to watch it, and then he tries to translate it to English for the rest of us. So it's been fun to watch him go through this process of iterating, because he's been tossing these ideas around for the last 20 years. I mean, as long as I can remember.
That is really interesting. And when I started reading the book, after your publisher sent it over, the first thing that came to my mind is the dog or the cat. It's very ancestral, where the cat or the dog in the morning with that downward dog, and it's a complete whole body stretch, and
Yes.
it kind of like a light bulb went off in my head. Let me just look at what you wrote, and you say there's two forms of Fastercise. There's Tightercise and Shivercise. Both of them mimic actions that our bodies do automatically without us even trying. Let's dive into that. So get into the Tightercise part of this. Allison, you want to take that, or Dennis, you want to take it?
Yeah, Allison, go ahead.
So with Tightercise, throughout the day, I find Tightercise most effective when I feel like I've got all of this energy and I don't know what to do with it. And usually it comes within about 20 or 30 minutes after I've eaten. I will feel the need to just go and do something. It's just like this energy rush. And so typically, like, I could be at work or somewhere in the park or something, and I'll do my Tightercise routine. And so I start from head to toe and I go through all of my different muscle groups. So starting with like deltoids, then biceps, forearms, back, shoulders, abs, and then going down to like glutes, quads, calves, etc. And it's crazy how by flexing your muscles as hard as you can in these individual groups for 3 to 4 seconds, you burn out by being able to clench them as hard as possible, and you get results much more quickly than you would at any other point. You think about going to the gym, you would never tighten your muscles as hard as you possibly can, because if you're lifting something that requires that much effort, you're probably going to hurt yourself. But when you just do it on your own and you tighten your muscles as hard as you can, just in an isolated way with your own body weight, you run pretty much no risk of injury, and you get incredible results because you're pushing your muscles as hard as they can just for a very short period of time.
Awesome. Dennis?
Awesome. And with regard to the Shivercise, and that is like I want to say, first of all, that you don't have to be cold to Shivercise. Like, you don't, shivering has the same effect and on the body, whether you're cold or you're not cold. And the effect is that it releases a lot of your stored glycogen and fat to free up this fuel that your body can burn it in order to keep up with the energy demand that your body's putting itself through. So it will, it will use up a lot of energy or the stored or the energy currency in our body that we use for that. We call it ATP, but it'll burn up energy quickly. So if you think about your body let's say your body was cold. You are in a cold shower, or you're out in the freezing weather and it starts to rain and you start to get really cold. That's pretty much an emergency, because if that keeps up, you could die. So what does your body do? Well, it knows that it needs to burn stored energy to warm you up. And so the faster, the better. The faster it can go through ATP, the faster it can generate heat, and the faster it can save your life. And so of all the exercises it could possibly do, what does it do? It shivers. What does that tell us? It tells us that probably the fastest way that we can process or burn up energy is by shivering. And in my experience, that's the case. And also in the research, it shows that a shivering muscle or a rapidly contracting muscle, a rapidly moving muscle, can burn up to 3 times more ATP than a statically contracted muscle. So because it has to make crosslinks and break crosslinks and make crosslinks and break crosslinks. So the faster that muscle is moving, the more ATP it burns. And you don't have to have a lot of tension. It's just the movement, and you don't have to move very far. It's just an inch. And you can shiver size while you're lying on your bed, on your back. You can lie on your stomach. You can stand up. You can be in a plank position. You can, Allison has about 50 different videos on the Fastercise mobile app that shows you all different ways of doing these exercises.
Beautiful. I see when you talk about the shivering, and usually as human beings we think of being cold, but if you're ever watching like National Geographic, you'll see like the impala running away from the cheetah, and if it survives, it has an entire body shiver. And then it just goes about its business again, which it really does.
Yeah.
Like it's an unbelievable visual that we can see. So we could do this when you describe it. We can do this anywhere at any time. Have you guys found that there's a better time to do this?
One of the times I like to do shiver size is when I wake up in the morning, because it really gives you a great start on the day. It wakes you up so quickly and so efficiently and so effectively. It really gets you a great start. And what I liken it to is that instead of having a cup of coffee, which provides you caffeine, cream, and sugar, what you're getting instead when you Fastercise is you're getting epinephrine and fatty acids from your stored fat, and you're getting glucose from your glycogen. And on top of that, you're getting lactate, which is like pre-digested energized glucose, which is a preferred energy source for your brain. So it just lights up your brain like right now. And so you're awake and you're ready for the day like never before. So I typically will tighter size a little bit first, and then I'll finish off with shiver size. And another great time to do it is to push off hunger. What about you, Al?
Yeah, I completely agree. And what you said about hunger, for me, I think about the day in waves of hunger. So when I first get hungry in the morning, I'll shiver size. And then I'm typically not really hungry again until about late morning. And then I may shiver size again, but then I'll typically eat. And then shortly after, I'll do my tighter size routine. And I'll do that cycle about 2 times a day. So I get hungry, shiver size to push off the hunger. When it comes back, I eat, and then I do my tighter size. And I feel like this cycle of working with your metabolic rate to help your body burn fat at this time and then build muscle at this time really helps me to feel energized throughout the day, and also like efficient with my time. I'm working towards my fitness goals, even though I'm only spending a handful of minutes a day, sometimes in a conference room just by myself doing these exercises.
Yeah, Dennis, if you could just hypothesize, why do you think folks are getting, because you've got testimonials on the website, and of course Allison as well is a great testimonial, 8 months post baby. Why do you think people are getting such dramatic results in such a short period of time?
Well, I think it's because you're working with your body instead of against your body. Our body is built to help us accomplish whatever it is we want to accomplish as easily and as quickly as possible. However, if we're sending the wrong messages to our body, we might think we're sending the message to our body. It's like we're speaking a different language. Like if I thought, let's say you speak Spanish and I speak English, and I think I'm asking you for a burrito, but I'm actually, in Spanish, it actually comes out like I'm asking you for a bowling ball. It just doesn't work. But so that's kind of what it is with us. I think sometimes we're thinking that we're telling our bodies by the kind of exercise that we're doing. We think we're telling the body, okay, burn your storage and build your muscle, but actually we're telling it the exact opposite. So we're actually sending mixed messages and really not directing the body in the direction we want it to go.
Absolutely. That's fascinating. I see that you also, Allison, you're a life coach and you actually coach folks doing this. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to give, the content of Fastercise so anybody can do this anywhere. They can do it on their own. But we found that people are much, much more likely to find the success that they're looking for by having a coach. And that's where I come in. So I help walk people through the basics of Fastercise, but also learning how to kind of accept you for who you are and accept the situation that you're in. Because one of the best things about Fastercise is we meet you where you're at. This program is so flexible that it can work for whatever crazy schedule people have. Some people may be able to afford to spend 2 or 3 hours in the gym a day, but for a lot of people, that's completely unrealistic. And so we find a way to cater this program to help people, feel good about themselves, good about the effort that they're making, because oftentimes it's the best they can do, and it's absolutely enough to get great results with Fastercise. You can do this in as little as like 5 or 10 minutes a day. And I just love helping people feel their best. And I have found like more fulfillment doing this than any Excel spreadsheet or PowerPoint presentation that I may have given at some point in my life. So it's been a really great journey, and I'm really excited to see where it takes us.
Dennis, do you have something to add to
that? Yeah, I've just been thinking about the release of energy from the shivering. You can, why is that so powerful? Why does shaking do that? Well, it prepares our body. It releases a lot of energy so that we can use that energy for whatever we need to. But examples are this. Have you ever heard of people say, I was really nervous. I was so nervous I was shaking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then there's other people that say, well, I was so mad I was shaking. Or they say, I was so scared that I was trembling. Or they'll say, I was so grossed out that I was shuddering. I just shuddered. So it's like all of these things have the same thing in common, and that's your body just trying to prepare you for dealing with something like that. But shivering doesn't have to be unpleasant. In fact, it's really exuberating, because if that's a word, but exhilarating, I guess, is the word. So what you do is, you put on some music and you shiver just a few seconds, and you're just filled with energy, and it just is terrific.
Yeah, folks, I'm going to include this in the show notes so that you can get a visual for yourself and what this looks like. Talk to me. So you guys, so a book is a static thing, and then it lives forever and it doesn't change. But you've taken this to the next level in you're offering coaching, you're offering a monthly coaching service, which I think is phenomenal. And as we know, when we're left to our own, we generally don't follow through, unfortunately. I think it's about 90% of the time. But when we do coach with somebody, when we're held accountable, that's the key, it's the accountability, our success skyrockets. And that's what's really unique about what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we think so.
Yeah.
I'm very cognizant of your time, and it is late, and we've all worked a full day. But can you tell people where they can find you in the interwebs and in the world?
Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our Fastercise website, so fastercise.com. That's FASTERCISE.com. We also have different Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram pages if you're into social media. And then we also have our Fastercise app, again spelled the same way, Fastercise, Fastercise app in Apple and Android stores, available for download for free. And if you would like to sign up for coaching, you just need to go to pretty much any of those locations, and we've all linked it to our coaching page, which is on the Fastercise website.
Dennis, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I don't. See how good she is at that? She just
Absolutely.
kills that.
And hey, folks, I'll put that all in the show notes so you can find that. I didn't realize the app was free, which is even more awesome. That's fantastic. Before we leave, Dennis, what would you like to say to our audience before we head out?
I would say that there's always a way there. I like to think that there's always a solution. It's just a matter of looking for it and finding it. I know there's a lot of people out there with all kinds of health problems and chronic illnesses and different things, and they might not be getting their answers from books they read, or even doctors that they see, or all the king's horses, all the king's men. But there's always an answer. There's always a solution, and they can figure it out. And this particular solution, I feel very confident is going to. I really think that it puts extraordinary fitness into the hands of virtually anyone.
Fantastic. Allison, do you have anything to add before we go?
Yeah, I just like to echo what Dad said. I think that with Fastercise, suddenly the playing ground is level. Anyone can have insanely incredible fitness, whatever that looks like to you. We can all be heroes. We can all be proud of our results. And we are excited to help refresh human fitness the world over.
That's awesome. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. I'm greatly appreciative of it. I think this is a really unique book, and what you're doing is a game changer. You don't have to join a gym. You could use your body weight. Like, these are not crazy things that folks need to do to get healthy. So it is a fresh look on health and wellness. So folks, if you like what you heard, please go to iTunes and leave a review. It helps us to help others. And again, Allison and Dennis, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks so much, Mike. Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
You.
Ciao.
Bye.
And that's
Bye.
a wrap.
Hello, BYWG Tribe. Here's a quick peek at our supplement, product, and book of the month for November 2019. At the end of the podcast, I will spend a few minutes going into further detail, so we encourage you to listen to the end so you can check it out. The supplement of the month for 2019 November is hot off the press, newly formulated, and newly released Beyond Your Wildest Genes Immune Boost, with a 10% discount code for the month of November being lowercase I, lowercase b, 10. Yes, it's case sensitive, IB10. The product of the month for November is Dr. Cowan's Garden, nutrient-dense, all-organic vegetable powders. 20% off first-time buyers using the code capital B, capital Y, capital W, capital G. The book of the month for November is Own Yourself, the surprising path beyond depression, anxiety, and fatigue to reclaiming your authenticity, vitality, and freedom by one of our favorites, Dr. Kelly Brogan. Keep in mind all the links, discount codes, and special offers for the product, supplement, and book will be listed in the show notes and iTunes, posted on social media, in our weekly newsletter, and on our awesome website, www.beyondyourwildestgenes.com, at the Listen Now tab. Thanks for listening. It's Dr. Noah, and I'm back. I suspect you loved listening to this week's podcast release. So, the book of the month, as mentioned, for November 2019 is Own Yourself, by our favorite, or one of our favorites, Dr. Kelly Brogan. You can listen to Dr. Mike interview Dr. Brogan on September 30th in the podcast archives on our website at www.beyondyourwildestgenes.com. The supplement of the month for November 2019 is BYWG's Nutrition's Immune Boost. This supplement is the newest in a growing line of premium nutritional supplements formulated by your BYWG team. Are you feeling unwell? Is everyone around you sick? Do you need a boost? then this supplement is for you. Immune Boost is a unique combination of vitamins, minerals, mushrooms, antioxidants, and herbs to give your immune system the boost it needs, especially during the cooler months. For the month of November, the 10% discount code is IB10. In the archive, you can listen to a comprehensive review of all our supplements, and in November, one podcast release will be dedicated solely to Immune Boost. The product of the month for November is Dr. Cowan's Garden, nutrient-dense, all-organic vegetable powders. These powders are a clear and direct way to nutritional diversity. I've been using them and loving them since I interviewed Dr. Cowan for the podcast. You can listen to this in our podcast archives on December 18th, 2017. In fact, I'm interviewing Dr. Cowan again with a release date in November. If you're a first-time buyer and you love the product, and you want to try it, the code is capital B, capital Y, capital W, capital G. You will receive 20% off your first purchase. Like I said, I love these powders, and I love the Myron jars they come in. Some of my favorite powders are leek, horseradish, and burdock, and they even have unique things like turmeric and ashitaba, so check it out. Remember, 20% off first-time buyers using the code capital B, capital Y, capital W, capital G. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and be awesome and never unawesome.